Okay. The news has gone viral. Viral in the 2006 sense of the word. In the hospital, busy nurses meticulously note the names of everyone who is called to see if I am all right. Every time I wake up, there are more people on the list. From Ireland, England, France, Australia, friends to whom I haven't spoken in years. Nurses bring bouquets of flowers into the room. Soon there is not enough space for the flowers which line the windowsill, the chest of drawers, larger arrangements on the floor. I feel sorry for the florist who must have a sore wrist from writing the messages of get well soon and condolences on all of the cards. It is so incongruous for me to be lying in a bed in a Dunedin hospital in New Zealand and to see the names of my former colleagues and family friends. Immobile in the halo that is keeping my fractures in place, as I lie motionless at night surrounded by flowers, I feel as though I am in a cask. A friend echoes this when I go home. It was as though you had died, she said, at my parents' house when everyone visited before I came back from New Zealand, awake without the body. Soon there is a queue of well-wishers at the hospital. There are representatives from the embassy, people who are connected to people at home. The Irish diaspora is alive and well in Dunedin, and they have come to see me, a connection with home, a soft Derry or Belfast accent to reassure, to make the 11,800 miles between my family and me seem less far. It is heartwarming and comforting and yet overwhelming. The names on the list mount, and I am overcome with waves of gratitude so intense my heart swells, and I feel buoyed on a tide of love and goodwill, only to remember my loss and to suddenly plummet. Reconciling these feelings is next to impossible. The friends with whom we have been travelling tell me that their parents have seen my parents on the television. Friends have been interviewed on the radio too. The media has been all over the story. It is a huge story because it is a huge event. Nobody should have survived a fall of this magnitude, but I did, and my boyfriend did not. I am a miracle, but the situation feels far from miraculous. The nurses feel calls from the press, but on my last day in the hospital before making the journey home, a sister suggests that if I speak to anyone from the papers, there is one man whom she feels was so decent that is to him I ought to connect. I have not heard of the paper. It is a Southern Irish publication, but I talk to the journalist through a wall as I sit in the departure lounge in the airport in Auckland. He sounds kind, but I am clueless. I tell him that I want to immortalise my boyfriend Donal in words. I tell him everything about how thankful I am to be alive and what Donal meant to me. When I see the paper published days later, when I am home, I am chilled. My face is splattered over a double-page spread. It is a tabloid and it looks cheap and tacky, and I feel I have demeaned Donal. I am 25, I have fallen off a mountain and I am badly injured and bereaved, and I should not have been let loose to talk to anyone. But it is too late. People are upset. You have told everyone your business, my family says. I decline any invitations to star on Good Morning with Richard and Judy or the UTV or the BBC News. I am short with the reporters from the local newspapers who ring all the time, often very early in the morning. I will decide how to tell my story. I do not want the press having anything else to do with me manipulating my words. There are friends and people in my community to whom I shall be forever grateful. My minister, Alan, who is wise beyond words and realistic and honest. A neighbour and a friend's mother have trained with the Samaritans, and they come and they sit with me. They are equipped with the tools to help me navigate the days and weeks ahead. They listen, and carefully and delicately, they help me gain confidence and show me how to navigate my way through this nightmare. But there are many others who, just like the reporters, want to try and rewrite my narrative. They all want a piece, and they come in their droves to hear me tell my story. People I do not know well or want to get to know again, like ex boyfriends and their mothers who call the house and ring over and over again to find out how I am. My parents are unfailingly polite and they try to speak to everyone, but I am home and bereft and really want a cup of tea with them, the people with whom I feel safe. Meals grow cold while they tend to acquaintances on the phone or at the door. We need a secretary. Many women call. They are mothers, mothers who have raised children and maybe buried parents or even siblings. They feel that they are the authority on life and death, and they call relentlessly to impart wisdom. A former neighbour comes and sits for hours. She can empathise, she says. She had her hip replaced. It was very sore. One morning she rings early. I am on her to do list, obviously. I don't really know this woman. She goes on again and again about her hip. It's not quite the same, I say. My boyfriend died. I hang up. Days after I have returned home and am still physically and emotionally shattered, another woman calls. She is the daughter of a neighbour of the house I left when I was 4. I am now 25. Her husband is a mechanic, and in the past he has prepped our car for the MOT. She brings a small punnet of grapes. In return for her punnet of red grapes from the co-op, she will get my story, and she can tell her friends that she got it firsthand from the girl who fell hundreds of feet down a mountainside and survived. She sits and she waits. She wants every detail, as many do, wanting me to retell it over and over again. I tell her a lot, feeling that I somehow owe it to humanity that this is my new role. But I feel like a performing monkey. The woman presses for more and more details. What happened then? No, go back a bit. Do you remember the fall? Do I remember the fall? Do I remember the crunch of bones, the feeling of being airborne, and a crack and a thud before everything went black? No, I say, I don't remember the fall.